Welcome to the Flourish and Flow podcast. I'm Maggie Treptow, and I feel like I'm going to be changing the name of my podcast soon because we're not quite at the Flourish and Flow state, but I'm thinking about changing it maybe just to Flourish, like the Flourish Pod. I don't know, I like that, I think, better than... Anyway, I tried filming this morning, and my daughter literally woke up within 5 minutes of me making my podcast, so that's where we're at today. I don't drink too many Alanis because they are not good for you. And they kind of hurt my tummy sometimes, but I really need to pick me up, and my favorite right now is the Cosmic Stardust. It tastes like Skittles, and it is way too good if you have a sweet tooth. Yeah. So last night I was getting ready for my shower, multitasking. I was flipping the laundry, going downstairs to grab my husband's book. I coughed a little too hard. Freaking peed myself. And I've not pissed myself in like months and months since I started doing pelvic floor exercises. But yeah, it snuck up on me. I peed myself a little bit. And it wasn't like so bad where, you know, it was gonna be like all over or anything like that. But I was like, okay, I gotta get myself upstairs. I was about to take a shower anyway. Grab my husband's book, text him that his book is on the counter and that the trash needed to go out. And then I'm heading to the bathroom to go take my shower. And I remembered I needed to oil pull and wash my face with my oil cleanser, but I start putting the oil cleanser into my hand and then I'm like, shit, no, I was gonna do my oil pulling too, but I already have cleanser in my hand, so I had to choose. I'm like, okay, I'll just do the oil cleanser tonight. We'll do the oil pulling later. I feel like that is just such the essence of the mom brain state that I'm in right now. My daughter is 2. Actually, she's almost 2.5. And I'm just in that like frazzled state of trying to take care of my home, my baby, my husband, myself, my business. My other family members are like on the outskirts. I don't have a large group of friends. You know, it's just like, it's dwindling, and the things that are requiring my attention are requiring like 150% of me. And I'm always multitasking. Doesn't matter what the job is, I'm always thinking about the next thing, always trying to figure out what the next thing is that I need to do and make sure that I am prepared for my next step. But that's the mom brain, right? Okay, ladies, now I'm pretty sure that all of the men have left the chat now because we weren't talking about anything that they cared about because they can't multitask and I wasn't showing them my tits, so they have all gone off. So between you and me, today's episode is going to be all about discussing the multitasking that we do as moms, caring for our home, children, ourselves, and trying to run a business because it's really freaking hard. Now, while I'm thinking about all of this in the shower, of course I'm thinking about like the posts that I could be making for that particular thing about mom brain and everything. And I kid you not, the whole time I'm also thinking, dang, I could have been oil pulling this whole time. Is that not the essence of mom brain? Running a business and your household and literally thinking of all of these things at once. And I have to be honest, as I'm like saying that out loud, it definitely doesn't sound as funny as what it sounded in my head, but you let me know. I really didn't anticipate the level of responsibility that I would feel being one of the income providers in my family. I started focusing on TikTok Shop in March of 2024 because my brother-in-law was dying and my husband has 2 jobs, and at the time we really depended on his second job to literally like pay bills and buy groceries. So I wanted my husband to be able to take off the time that he needed when my brother-in-law inevitably passed away. And so I really worked hard. I was like, I need to make a full-time income. We're gonna do this. And by June, I started in March, and by June I was making a full-time income every month and ended up making over $50,000 on TikTok Shop in 2024. And his brother did end up passing away in December, and my husband was able to take 2 weeks off from his second job without us even thinking about it. It was no big deal. He was able to do that and take the time that he needed to just be at home and not have to worry about going to his second job. And then when he did go back, he just went back 2 days a week. So now he's still just doing 2 days. I'm so proud of that, but I also like really burnt myself out and I was so overwhelmed. So this is back in December. It's April now. And from December until like mid-February, I wasn't really posting that much. But it wasn't too big of a deal until the TikTok ban happened. And when the ban happened, any residual income that I had from like my really good videos from November and December stopped. I was making an easy $150 a day, which was on the lower end for me at that time, but it was still like the income that we needed to make sure that I could give a paycheck to my family. And that pretty much just ended after the ban. So I went from making an easy $200 a day to making like $20 a day now, but I'm back to hustling, posting 5 to 6 videos every day. So I need to get my shit together and figure out more ways that I can make my family income from home, because I am not going back to a 9 to 5. Like I would literally rather anything else than go back to a 9 to 5 at this point. So I've been doing more brand deals. I have 2 brands that I'm working with right now that equate to about $800 a month. That's still not enough though, because before I was saving 50% of my income for taxes and business things and whatever, and I have about $400 worth of business expenses every month. So that doesn't leave anything to pay my family. I was also used to paying my family $3,000 a month. So, 50%, like I absolutely need to make about $5,500 every month in order to be able to pay my family what I need to, save the amount of money that I want to save, and cover my business expenses. And I really want to create a heart-led business that can help me serve my community in the best way. So I really want to serve other stay-at-home moms who want to make a business for themselves and stay at home with their kids. But I have to build all of this from scratch, and I am really struggling to maintain my TikTok shop routines while also trying to heal my trauma enough to even trust my heart to lead me in that business. I have a long road ahead of me, and it's so easy to focus on what I could be worrying about, like going back into debt, having to go back to my 9 to 5. I literally would rather die, and having to put my baby in daycare, which again, I would literally rather do anything else than put my kid in daycare and have to go back to a 9 to 5. But I'm really understanding that instead, I truly need to focus on what I can do. And every day, just those little things are adding up. Like for instance, I am really trying to focus on my health and on making different forms of income, right? So I'm manifesting my dream life, working on manifesting that. Like I want financial freedom. We need a larger home so that we can grow our family. We want a van. I want to take 2 vacations every year. And I want time freedom. Don't want my sales to be dependent on me needing to post 5 times a day. I also want to homeschool our kids. I actually want my husband and I to be able to homeschool our kids together, so we have that time freedom to be able to work on the things that we're passionate about, raise our children in the way that we think is best for them, and still have that freedom and flexibility to be able to run our businesses from the background when we're doing those other things that are maybe more important. I also want to build products that can be relaunched. So they're like more or less evergreen products that I need to maybe revamp once or twice a year, but they're good to relaunch year after year. And in this way, I want to be able to serve the women in my online community who also want to start a flourishing, heart-led business. Honestly, sometimes all we need are the words of one person to completely change the trajectory of our lives and help us find our purpose. And I think that this is my current mission, to help other women find their purpose as I'm finding my own. So this is what I'm doing right now. I'm showing you the things that I'm doing, like working on TikTok shop, doing brand deals, and starting to do some digital marketing, trying to expand my online business, sharing these things with you and what I'm doing in the hopes that I can grow my audience simply through being me and talking about what I'm doing. That's what it means to have a heart-led business in my eyes. So I'll tell you what I'm working on right now. I'm really focusing on my health this year. I'm walking almost every day, salads for lunch, and I'm not eating after 8 o'clock. I did mess this up one time. So the last 3 months, I have eaten after 8 o'clock one time when it wasn't popcorn, like just plain popcorn. We're talking not out of a bag or anything like that. My husband makes it for me on the stove, so it doesn't have any extra junk in it, just popcorn if I'm really wanting it. And if I'm absolutely starving, I've only done this twice, I make myself some ramen noodles. Now I know that is not the best thing ever, but it's not a ton of food for your body to digest. And that's kind of my main point with not eating at night, is that my body needs time to not be digesting things. So the ramen noodles is kind of safe for me if I'm like literally starving for some reason I didn't eat enough during the day or something. So in the process of not eating past 8, I realized that I have a binging problem. And this is a struggle that I've had for probably the last 20 years. And I never even recognized the signs. And granted, like, I have a bachelor's degree in psychology. I volunteered at the Mental Health Crisis Center for 4 years in college, like taking calls on the hotline. Yeah, that national suicide hotline, I took those calls and answered those texts for 4 years. And then I was also a case manager at a community mental health center. I should have seen the signs in myself that I had created an eating disorder, but I didn't see it. I was completely blind to it, I think just because it was me. So now I'm realizing that I need to deal with my trauma. And I've done the meds. Didn't cure me, obviously. They just cover up the problem. Therapy sure as hell never helped me. It's hard being sad and disappointed all the time, mostly in myself. So I'm taking a teacher training on how to clear your chakras and release your traumas. Learn how to, live in the moment and let go of those traumas in the moment so that they don't cause another block. Now, this is probably going to sound super woo-woo to you. That is totally fine. This is more of an Eastern medicine approach rather than a Western medicine approach. I've tried the Western shit. It did not work for me, so I'm trying the Eastern shit to see if it does. And I think that I know that in clearing those blocks that I have of trauma in my body, that my heart will be open again and I can begin to trust myself enough to know myself in order to be myself. And that can only lead to me opening my heart-led business that provides the lifestyle that I'm wanting for my family. So as I continue to work on my trauma, as I continue to work through my eating disorder, and as I continue to work on my health, I am also still putting work into my TikTok shop business. I built it from the ground up last year, and I hope to still make an income from that this year because it can be really fun. I love getting the new stuff, and it's a really cool way to make income online. I don't think it's for everyone, but if you're willing to put in that work, it can be really lucrative as long as you're willing to stick with it even when it's not lucrative. Plus, I want to make one of those like crazy amounts of money, have one of those 100K months that other people get. I know that that's in the cards for me and I just have to keep going in order to get it. And I don't think that TikTok shop is going to be something that lasts forever, to be honest. I think that people will get tired of seeing the shoppable content and they just won't want to participate anymore. And I think we kind of all see that coming. Like, we just don't want to be fed ads all the time. So in knowing that my business will always require content creation in order for me to market myself no matter what I'm doing, I'm working on upgrading my content. So I just got a new mic. Not this one. This is like my OG podcasting mic. It's from Blue Yeti. It's awesome, but it's a big boy. It's a big daddy mic. It's good for podcasting, but I wanted one of those little lavalier. Is that what it's called? Lavalier mics. So I got one of those for my TikTok shop videos and for my TikTok videos in general. I got some new lights. I've got a new setup. I've got my desk in my room, so now I can close the door. We have a really small house, and before my desk was like out in the living room and stuff, so noise from the dogs, noise from outside, those types of things, it was just not really conducive to this. So put my desk in the bedroom, which it's kind of nice to like have the windows behind me and stuff. And you can just see my bed, but that's like literally all I have to do in order to make sure that my space is cleaned up as well, is just make sure that my bed is made, which is really nice. And I've also niched my TikTok shop account down to being pretty much only fashion. I'm working on ways to improve how I batch my content and how I edit, and I'm trying to improve my storytelling skills because we know that storytelling is a huge way that people make sales, whether it's on TikTok shop or it's with a digital product that you've made for yourself. Storytelling is huge, and I feel like I'm just not good at it. So I bought a workshop, like a masterclass from a lady that I've been following for probably 2 years and haven't bought from her. So I just went and bought her masterclass, and so now I can start to learn storytelling from her. These are all things that are going to actually serve me well in my content and on all of my accounts, all of my platforms, all of my accounts, my content in general. Just help me be a better content creator, because that's what I am. With every step of this process that I complete, I know that I'm closer to building a thriving business that I love and that builds my family up in the way that I want, that I'm intending. I just have to surrender the results of my work. Just like when you spend an hour creating a piece of content and you post it, you have to surrender the results of your content. You no longer have control after you've posted it onto the platform, and you have to be okay with whatever results come from your video. You have to know that you put in that work, you put in the right effort, and if it's not going to go anywhere, it's just not going to go anywhere. You pivot from there. You can always delete the video, but you can't delete the time and energy that you've already put into it. It's done. So you just have to be okay with it. So all of this to walk back to that mom brain mentality. Somehow we have the ability to create, birth, and feed a child with our own bodies. And do you not think that you could also run your business and your household while raising your children at the same time? In our society, I feel like we are constantly told that we cannot do it all. You have to have a village. You can't do it all by yourself. I mean, you need to know when you need to delegate things, but you can do it. You can have a thriving business. You can raise your children the way that you want to, homeschooling or whatever you want to do. You can retire your husband. You can be debt free. Like, you can own your own home and not have a mortgage payment. These are all things that you can do. We're just used to living the easy way, having debt, sending our kids to school for someone else to teach them what they need to know, working for someone else and just getting a salary because we know it's going to be consistent income. We're really used to all of those things. That's how our society is set up for the middle class, the middle and lower class, but I don't want to be in that class anymore. So I'm trying to do the things that are going to set me above, that put me above a level where I'm already at, so that I can help the people below me get up to my level. We can do it all if we have the right systems in place for our desires to come into fruition. So when those systems are in place and we have a plan, our desires can come into our reality, manifesting, right? If we know what we need to do every day to keep our businesses and our households running smoothly, that's all we have to do every single day, is just keep them going. I'm trying to go into the rest of this year with this kind of energy. I can do it all as long as I have the systems in place to accomplish my goals. So if you're feeling frazzled, I found that laying out my goals in detail and then creating a plan to achieve those goals and working on that plan and making it better as I go, all while learning what you need to do in order to improve, has helped me feel like I'm finally starting to see what my purpose is. And I know that that's a lot. It feels like it's just overwhelming, and that's it, overwhelming. And it kind of is, but everything is overwhelming when you first start. When you don't really know how it's going to happen, how it's going to work out, everything is overwhelming. I'm in that space now of feeling like I've kind of woken up to that spiritual side of things, the Think and Grow Rich mentality, which, by the way, if you haven't read that book, I would definitely read Think and Grow Rich. Some of it is going to seem absolutely wild to you, and some of it still seems wild and weird to me, but the more I open myself up to these things, the more I see that they work for other people. And that kind of woo-woo side of things, why do we keep calling it woo-woo, to be honest? Just because we don't understand it? Because we know it works for some people. We just haven't been able to make it work for ourselves because we don't stick with it. And if you don't stick with something for long enough, how is it going to work? You don't even know if it's worked if you haven't stuck with it for long enough. There's a process that we have to go through when we're starting new things. You basically have the goal in mind, then you need to figure out your plan, discover what tools you need in order to do that. So what things do I need to learn? Then you start building this for yourself, and you start getting the information that you need from the people around you. You build what you need to build, and then you release it. You release it to whomever is going to purchase it or complete the task or whatever it is. A lot of times I feel like I'm really rambling here, so you probably feel that way too. But I hope that in me just giving out, like word vomiting the stuff that I'm working on, that you might be able to be shown a mirror to yourself and say, ooh, you know what? I think I need to work on that too. Or I think I might need to do that too. Because seriously, starting a business online, starting to make money online is really challenging, but it's no more challenging than starting a new job or starting any kind of other business. It's just that it doesn't feel like the road is paved for us. But to be honest, the road less traveled is the one that makes more money, baby. And it's already been traveled by a whole bunch of other people, so there's no reason why we can't do this too. And as stay-at-home moms, I'll just speak for myself here. Like, as a stay-at-home mom, my husband still works his second job 2 days a week. So we're trying to balance like how I can work, how he can work, and how we can, figure this out together. And he's 100% behind me. We're ready to have like this heart-led business where I can feel satisfied in my work and make good money doing it. Because we know that once I can establish this business, our lives can move forward. We can work on getting the house that we're working on. We can work on expanding our family. We can just have more time and space to breathe. And I don't want to be hustling with TikTok Shop anymore. It's a hard hustle, but it is a good way to make money if you keep going with it. And I found that I love writing my emails every week. If you're on my email list, I put, a decent amount of time into those, just trying to help. And I don't really know what people want from me yet, but I think that as I open myself up, and I share my story more, and I share what I'm doing and what I want to do, that more people will come into my space that say, I just want to work with you. I just want to work with you so that I can get to where you're at. And that's all I can hope for. And once I have enough data of, maybe one-on-ones and that kind of thing to be able to work with, then I'll know better of what kind of product people are looking for from me, so that I can take that one-on-one knowledge and put it into a product that people can just purchase on their own and do it on their own time. Okay, so just to recap our episode a little bit, we talked about me not anticipating the amount of responsibility that I would feel as a stay-at-home mom, also making money online and realizing how much I need to continue to pivot year after year to continue my money growth. I'm also working on manifesting my dream life, and in doing so, I know that I need to focus on the things that I can do. So I'm focusing on my health, dealing with my trauma, trusting myself more so that I can create a heart-led business that doesn't suck all the time and energy out of me, that feels good to be able to provide to people. And I'm working on upgrading my content currently, because that's my current business. And I know that with every step that I'm taking, I am improving and I'm getting closer to that heart-led dream business that I, of course, have the goal of being able to create this year. All while going back to the whole mom brain scenario, that just because it feels like your brain is all over the place, our brains are like spaghetti, I mean, they literally do look like a plate of spaghetti. But I heard someone say an analogy of men and women's brains are like spaghetti, men's brains are like waffles. Waffles have those cute little squares in them, and they can just section out everything into those cute little squares and figure out what they need to do. Mom's brains are like a plate full of spaghetti. All the to-do lists are intertwined. All the things that we need to do feel like they need to get done every single day. But when we can try to work on centering ourselves, figuring out what needs to get done in order for our goals to be completed, if we can do a little bit to move that needle forward every day, our goals will be completed. It might not be in the time frame that we want it to. It's not going to be done tomorrow, but it can be done within the year. It can be done within the month. Just like losing weight. My friend and I were talking about our weight loss goals, and we both want to be like around 175, but I'm at like 230 right now. It seems unobtainable, but I've already lost 15 pounds this year, 5 pounds a month. And I was thinking about how 5 pounds a month equates to 50 pounds in a year. That's a lot. That's not right. 5 pounds a month. would actually be 60 pounds in a year. Well, that's even better then. 60 pounds in a year, and isn't that about, what I want to lose? So it feels good to realize that my goals are obtainable in the long term, and that a little bit of progress every day, something that's sustainable. I can go on a walk almost every day. I can decide not to have snacks at night. I can choose to have a salad for lunch instead of something else. I can choose to meal prep my breakfast to make sure I'm getting in the protein that I need in the morning. We can make these steps toward our goals that help progress us and choose longevity over immediate results. So that's what I'm working on right now, trying to figure out a plan, trying to move the needle forward. I'm still working on my TikTok shop workshop. I'm working on creating a workshop that is reasonably passive income for me. It's something that I don't really want to talk about all day because it's not fun. Like, I don't want to talk about TikTok shop anymore, but I think that it is a great way for people to start making income. And those TikTok shop videos can be repurposed on so many other places, like Amazon, LTK, Pinterest. Like, you can really repurpose those videos to be making more money. And that's what I want to teach other people how to do as well. It took me a whole year to get to where I'm at, and I don't want it to take people that long. So if they can pay $70 for a workshop that's going to teach them all of these things, I want to be able to do that. It might be more than $70, but I'll have to see when I get it done how much I want to charge for it and see, where the market is at. So that's what I'm working on right now. That's step one for me. I know that I need to complete that project because I started it already, and we'll just keep moving the needle forward. That is all for this week, my friends. I hope that you have a beautiful, glorious week, and let's keep growing. Forever growing. Love you.